Mike Briggs is our cattle market analyst this week. The U.S. Department of Agriculture believes American farmers and ranchers will produce 5% more beef in 2017 than they did in 2016. Feedlots have been placing more animals this year. In fact, in 7 of the first 8 months, those placements were higher than the previous year. That includes August total, which was 3% above a year ago. The October live cattle futures contract before Friday's latest cattle on feed report closed at its highest level since early August, but analysts were expecting more friendly numbers. We talked with Mike Wednesday morning and asked how the market reacted to the latest estimates.
Not as much as I thought, actually. I thought the markets were getting way out of hand last week. We were pushing the markets up. They were planning on a bullish report. They didn't get it. I didn't think they'd get it. Placements were up way over what expectations were, and so that just crushed the market. We went limit down on Monday. We were down quite a bit yesterday, and man, it just snapped right back today, and I'm kind of perplexed by that, to be real honest with you. There's plenty of fat cattle out here. I do not know, however, what the packer has for October contracts, and he's only a week away from being able to pull those. So this cash week's struggle is going to really be a pretty telltale sign. If the packer can win this arm wrestling match, we have a problem. If we can hold our own, then maybe things aren't going to be so bad.
Tell me first why placements were higher.
Well, I think you've had a lot of placements come from the north where we had the drought. Out of Montana and the Dakotas, I think you saw a lot of early placements. Cattle that would have normally come later, and there was a lot of cattle down off the Flint Hills, and it was time for them to come. So you saw some greater placements there in August than maybe you typically would have. I think you're going to see big placements again this month, which once again gives me another thing that gives me a little bit of caution is how we're building a big premium into these deferreds. You're asking for cattle, and cattlemen will respond, and we'll place cattle, and then all of a sudden I wonder if that premium will remain.
Explain more about that deferred relationship to what cattle producers will do.
Anytime you see the market in a premium structure, in other words, the deferreds are worth more than the nearby, the market is telling you several things. One, feed your cattle longer because they're going to be worth more out front. Place more cattle because we want cattle out here, so people are placing cattle. And that's what the market does. We're really good at responding to market signals. Over just the last few weeks, we were selling cash cattle over the board. That went away. Now cash cattle are under the board. And so people have started to hold their cattle, which is what the market was telling you to do. Well, now we're putting more pounds on the market. Thank gosh that we've got great demand. We've got great exports. We've got great domestic demand. And that's helping us a lot because we're slaughtering more cattle than we were last year. We're producing more beef than we were last year, even though it's not a significant amount, but every pound we put on those animals is going to make more as we go forward.
Let's focus more on domestic demand. Are you at all concerned now that grilling season's over?
You know, I'm really not. Maybe that's Pollyannish of me, but I don't think so. I think this year versus last year, beef is a much better value for the consumer. The consumer's a little bit better off because the economy's good and they want to eat beef. And I think we're just going to continue to roll through this. We've already seen this week, you always have a big push for middle meats going into the Christmas holiday. That's already started. And when your middle meats are dragging this thing up, that's not a bad deal.
And internationally?
International is tremendous. Now, a lot of that has to do with the value of the dollar. But it just keeps coming, and I think we're in really good shape all the way around.
Have you seen a response from China?
You know, that was interesting. We talked about that before we turned on the cameras. I actually had a call today wanting to know if I had any cattle that qualify for China. Although they never would tell me what they wanted to pay me for them. I don't have any, so that's probably why. That China thing, I really think that was just foo-foo personally. Said, yeah, sure, we'll open our markets, but then they cracked the door open about this far because the requirements are so stiff. I have no idea what kind of premium they're willing to pay for those cattle because those cattle are going to be considerably more expensive to produce. So I don't know what's really going to happen there. I don't think it's going to be a big deal personally.
Okay, but do you think it's the right move to be in there in case those restrictions would start to narrow down or widen out, I guess?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's great to be in there. You know, we've been sending stuff through the back door through Vietnam and through Hong Kong for years. So let's just be real and open it up and go. Now, maybe they will do that at some point. They'll lessen the restrictions just like Japan did a few years ago, and then we can really roll right in there. Hopefully that'll happen. I would like to see that happen because I think a lot of those restrictions are unnecessary and they send the wrong message personally.
So before we had that cattle on feed report, markets were starting to climb a little bit. Did you hope that maybe that would continue?
Well, you always want the market to go up. Like I said, I didn't. I thought that was all a big head fake by the market. I didn't think that we had a bullish cattle on feed coming. I don't think the next one's going to be bullish from the standpoint of placements. Now, if we continue to market cattle like we've been marketing them ahead of schedule, we don't let them get too heavy, demand hangs in there, maybe those placement numbers don't matter quite as much because we're rolling through the cattle. But we'll see as we go forward.
Meaning you think we chop sideways?
It's possible.
Or
I think we could go higher, but it all depends. You know, if guys really hold cattle here because of that premium structure in the market and put a lot of pounds on these cattle, we're quite a ways away from the 215 carcass weights. Gosh, I hope we don't get there either, because the amount of extra tonnage we'd put on this market, I don't know if it could handle it. But I think we're in good shape right now.